Cześć Piotr, jak się
Cześć.
tu ma?
Bardzo dobrze, fine, thank you. How are you?
Did I surprise you with my Polish greeting?
Yes, it was surprising.
That concludes my knowledge of Polish, to be honest. But many people think that because Ukrainian and Polish are so similar, like we should be proficient in Polish by default. I mean, I
Yeah,
can
right.
understand many words, but when you guys mix them all together in one sentence, I mean, and say it very fast, my brain just, I don't know, stops working.
Yeah, that's unfortunately how
You
we
know
use
what?
things.
Oh my God. Actually, I have one funny story to tell in this regard. I mean, if you want to hear it, technically we have 1 minute for audio check.
Okay.
Yeah, by the way, guys, we are on, and please tell us if you cannot hear us. And while you're doing that, I'm going to share my funny/awkward story related to crossing some Polish customs. So I know you guys didn't come here to listen to my crazy stories, but I mean, I have to tell this, okay? A bit more than a year ago, I guess, as I was going on the business trip somewhere in Europe, essentially I went through Poland, right? And I think it was the first time for me to cross the Polish border by bus. But in any case, as I approach the window for passport control, the woman, the customs officer, she asks me, where am I going, right? I'm like, so I'm going to Poland, right? I'm going to Warsaw. I mean, she asked me in Polish, but I understood it. But then after I said that, she asked me something else, but very, very quickly. And I didn't understand a single word. And then that's when I made the biggest mistake, So as I'm staring at her, trying to process what she just said, I asked her, excuse me, I didn't understand anything. Could you repeat in English, please? And that's, I'm saying, she almost seemed offended. She looked at me like, it only lasted like for 3 seconds, but I think her thoughts were like, I don't know, showing off you the English here, huh? You're Ukrainian, you should understand Polish. And just so you know, within the time frame of 30 seconds, I became quite nervous. Okay, so
I understand, yeah.
And then she repeated, she asked me the same question again, but in Polish still. So I think at this time I understood some words, and I said, I'm sorry, I didn't understand you exactly, but I think you're asking me about my final destination. So I'm going to Europe. I'm going on a business trip to this country. I'll be back to Ukraine in 5 days, and I'm going through Warsaw as well. So she's looking at me, and gave me my passport. I'm like, oh my God, thank God, I'm not going back home. I'm going to Europe. It was.
I think it also depends on the people. So sometimes you just encounter someone that is close and or they have the bad day, and sometimes it's misunderstanding.
I think so. But also because I was crossing, by bus. Because when I went earlier, before the border, like in the airports, I don't know, they're more understanding, I think. Okay. In any case, I mean, the crazy story time is over. Now let's switch to something more exciting, something that can actually make a difference in our daily lives. Let's take a closer look at some fantastic environmental monitoring solutions built by Atmesys, on top of the awesome KaaIoT platform, of course. So Piotr, thank you so much for joining us today. We are happy to have you here. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, and welcome everyone. And I hope it will be an interesting endeavor on this webinar with all of you.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. So let's start, by taking a closer look at Atmesys, a bit more of a background. Can you elaborate more on what Atmesys does and, how you guys started with the company, essentially?
Yeah, sure. So nowadays, data is called the new oil. So a resource that is incredibly powerful and precious, and that it can actually has a potential to transform industries and societies. So just as oil fueled the Industrial Revolution, we believe that environmental data drives development and innovation in many sectors like agriculture, renewable energy sources, smart cities, transportation, and countless other industries. So our goal was to create a solution that would help to harness that potential and that actually resides in environmental data and monetize it in the form of time savings, increased efficiency, and mitigation of losses. So I would describe Atmesys as a technology company that leverages advanced environmental monitoring to drive sustainability and innovation. To maybe close it, Atmesys is a holistic approach to the need how to easily acquire data in a real time, aggregate them into proper data sets, and of course, filter relevant information to prepare easy to read conclusions through online tools and KaaIoT cloud services.
Okay, thanks. But what led you to choose exactly environmental monitoring, like as the main focus for your company? I mean, how did it all get started? Like at which point?
I got a great question. So the concept of the startup was conceived during our studies. We actually received Diamond Grant on our PhD studies. And the primary focus was to develop a wind turbine, new design of the new urban wind turbine. And we needed to map wind characteristics at the location that we planned to install the prototype. And the existing solutions at that time that were present on the market were either expensive, challenging to deploy, or had limited capabilities. So at that point, at that moment, we decided that to start our journey of creating our own modular plug-and-play IoT system. And actually, after a short detour in corporate venture, as normal students after the studies, we actually were working on the digitizing production in transformer factories. And we actually gained valuable insight, what is actually needed from the industrial perspective. So later, thanks to pre-seed EU funding through the Bridge Alpha program, we are here today, having undergone numerous pivots, but now ready to deliver our advanced IoT solution. And maybe it's worth mentioning that during the development phase, we plan to create our own dashboards and front end for the client. But since you guys done such a great job with KaaIoT, then we've decided not to force open doors, and here we are.
Yeah, I know. Like we kind of closed this problem for you at that point.
Exactly.
So yeah, thanks for the introduction. And just to emphasize, like our audience, you can ask any questions here in the chat, and we will go through them at the end of the session. We're going to have a Q&A. So please feel free to drop your questions at any point. And yes, Piotr, we are here today to highlight, your solutions and what you guys actually built for environmental monitoring. Do you want to maybe, like when it comes to environmental monitoring, I'm aware like there are some specific areas in Poland that require enhanced control and supervision, right? Like, can you tell us more about the situation and what Atmesys does exactly in this regard to make a positive impact?
Yeah, sure. Great question. And I would like to explain it maybe with the help of our applications portfolio. And with our solutions, we try to address a vast number of clients and different sectors of the market. And I hope that you can currently see the dashboard.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Okay, great. So actually, there are two prominent environmental concerns in Poland regarding air quality and river water quality. So despite the regulations and legislations that were concerning heating in Poland, our cities often during the winter face severe smog. So maybe I'll now switch to the dashboard that is actually expressing that. So to address this problem,
I love how it looks.
so yes, exactly. It's nice. It's eye-catching, and this solution actually addresses the problem in terms of fully autonomous IoT solution that can be deployed on any location close to, this one is close to kindergarten in Wrocław. And we've created a user-friendly dashboard that is actually an air quality monitoring solution. So on this specific dashboard, that's what you can see here, is basically the chart representing the particulate matter during the winter time period. And as you can see, it's extremely bad. Fortunately, it's at afternoon and during night. So this was this winter, the previous winter. And this dashboard was available to the parents and the management of the school, so they could decide if some lessons could take place outside or not. Fortunately, during the day, you could see that the quality was quite good, so it was not dangerous for the children to take place. And actually, that would be that.
Okay, but tell me this, just for my understanding. So after the system notifies you about like a certain level of contamination, what happens next? I mean, is there an automatic alert being sent to the government institution, or and someone takes measures after this? Like, how quickly should this all happen? I mean, I'm not really an ecological expert, so can you please just explain what occurs after identifying the issue? Like what?
Yeah, sure. Actually, great question again. And of course, we are utilizing the full capabilities of the KaaCloud. And actually, we can connect and create alerts for different parameters that if they exceed their predefined numbers and predefined regions, they are generated and sent to the respective people. I've also maybe should mention, so the other significant issue that maybe will be more present for your question is basically the water quality measurement systems. And because we recently just faced a river water quality issue, which was actually a mass mortality even on Oder River, I hope most of you have known about this. Over 100 tons of fish were recovered from the Polish segment of the river, and additional 35 tons on the German section. And initial theories were that this was impacted by the heat and reduced water levels due to European drought that we had. And small digression here, this also requires environmental monitoring to control this drought in the future. But coming back to the topic, so later it was discovered that it was caused by algal bloom. And our national, we call them national organization, which is called Polish Waters, fancy name for official organization. But they are preparing the warning system for the potential threats that can be monitored and will be monitored online on the Oder River for the entities operating along the river. So there are different smaller entities that are responsible for the safety and ecosystem that is in their region. And actually, the solution that is placed here would perfectly match to the alerting system and continuous measurement of the environmental conditions that actually create conditions for development of the algae, and could alert different entities or the closest entity on the river segment that is responsible for identifying if it was a spill, if there should be some actions, protective actions, or additional surveillance of the potential threats, so that they can have proactive measures to protect the system and water from being contaminated again. And so basically, we hope to be part of that system and actually utilizing the full capabilities to actually send the necessary information to responsible people.
Yeah, this is very important. I think that you cannot only monitor, the parameters, you can take some action, on top of it. And correct. I think that's the main goal, I think, for this whole environmental monitoring, right? So I think, as we can see, there are many ecological problems that may be addressed with the help of IoT, right? And I see that there's a lot of things that Atmesys had already implemented. And another example that came to my mind that happened relatively recently, and I just wanted your opinion on this topic. So it's affected by war and influenced thousands of people. Okay, like the hydroelectric dam in Nowa Kachovka in Ukraine ended up getting destroyed. Right, it led to a massive flood affecting about 17,000 people and potentially even more. I mean, we're talking upwards of 42,000 people in the region. Okay, so irrigation systems wrecked. The Zaporizhia nuclear reactors safety and cooling systems have been severely compromised. Okay, water contamination, challenges in accessing essential services, particularly, like clean drinking water, food. I mean, the list goes on and on. So I was thinking, like, we already discussed water contamination, right? And I know that what you guys are doing in this regard, but like considering the damage to agriculture and biodiversity, do you think there's anything that IoT and Atmesys could do? Well, not maybe to prevent, but at least to help mitigate the painful impact of this topic, if there's anything.
Yeah, I fully agree, first of all, that this terrorist aggression by Russia affects innocent people and the entire ecosystem for our Ukrainian neighbors. And of course, we stand in solidarity and support Ukrainian in the face of this unjust war. And that I wanted to be underlined 2 times. And what we believe is that Atmesys solution could play an essential role in the implementation of regenerative agriculture practices, so that especially in regions that have been severely impacted by war, this can be adopted and significantly improve the speed of recovery. And through the integration of weather data with soil metrics and our other parameters that actually farmers can acquire and get the holistic insights into overall farm performance, so they could act accordingly or basically more efficient. So fast deployment of our solution would be possible because we have our autonomy, so we can quickly, without infrastructure, place the system where it's needed. And due to modularity, we can actually tailor it for the needs of the specific people at specific region for the specific needs. So then they can make data-driven decisions, they can optimize resources utilization, they can identify areas of enhancement, and maybe they can effectively implement regenerative practices, because this is also some complex topic. And the other applications, as I mentioned, of our solutions could be also the water quality measurements and water level alerting system. So whenever there is another failure of the dam or there are another spills of the water, this could alert them in quite vastly and accordingly.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much for your answer. So what do you think are the key technologies involved, like when we are talking about IoT-based monitoring? Like which specific environmental parameters should we like keep an eye on?
Yeah, so our approach as Atmesys, we embrace this autonomy and customization. This is our core of our business. And our solution can be tailored to the needs of our clients because it can be described in 2 words: freedom and simplicity. Freedom to choose any configuration that you want, and in a very simple way. But of course, it's not so easy to achieve this. So during development, we concentrated on 4 main aspects. So the autonomy is due to basically renewable energy resources and management of those, supported by robust AGM batteries, so they can work in very not supporting environment. And of course, new microcontrollers with ultra-low energy consumption. That was the first rule of autonomy. The second one would be the communications, and we rely on 5G communications because of the new capabilities, and which stands as our, let's say, solution embraces long range and low energy communication. And long range and low energy actually combines to 5G communications, which meets rigorous demands for IoT and Industry 4.0. Third one is modularity. So we thought that the tailoring to the needs of the customers requires flexibility to connect various sensors and external devices. So we support basically any protocol and multiple interfaces to connect third-party solutions. So we are not closed only to ours, but also to other. And the last but not least, plug and play. It has to be very simple so the people without knowledge can launch the system and utilize its benefits.
Okay, sounds great. Thanks. Actually, you said about 5G. We as a company, we actually have a lot of telco backgrounds, and we work with telcos a lot. So when you said 5G, I got triggered that I have so many things to say about 5G, but maybe we should just dedicate a specific webinar for this particular topic, because so many discussions going on in the internet on 5G,
I know.
monetization. Oh, come on, guys.
It's never-ending story, but still, the development must press that when you need it, you just use what is best on the market, and that's what we do.
Yeah, exactly. Agree. Okay, so let's switch to the most practical side. Can you show us some of your solutions that you created for the topics that we just discussed, water contamination and everything? We can see your screen.
Okay,
now.
let's discuss. In order to discuss this, I hope you see again our spectrum of applications. And basically, historically, Atmesys was focused on delivering solutions for efficiently measuring renewable energy sources, especially wind and solar. Our primary objective was to create a cost-effective solutions, but that adhered INC standards, so maintaining high quality of data measurements. So maybe now I will show one of the examples. This is actually what we offer both for dedicated PV farms as well as wind turbine installations. However, our solution already found favor with several major energy companies such as PGE and Tauron, and we have implemented dedicated photovoltaic farm systems due to ease of integration with existing SCADA systems and benefits it offers. So to achieve this, we have we actually concentrated on 1 second precise measurements with high-end sensors like ultrasonic anemometers, multispectral photodiodes, as well as pyranometers for solar radiation, which are critical parameters for this kind of a business. And of course, we connect locally with existing SCADA systems, but remote monitoring and remote maintenance is available through KaaIoT Cloud after login, of course. And you can see we are utilizing this dashboard actually. It's exemplary, few publicly available stations that we can quickly see which stations are operating correctly, which have some issues with parameters. That means maybe they are in service and we have to take action.
This is a very hot topic today, renewable energy. I think soon it will deliver most of the world's electricity, right? I mean, just recently we came from from the business trip from Denmark, and it's fascinating. In 75% of Denmark's electricity generation was produced collectively, through renewable energy sources, back in 2022. And by 2030, I think they want to switch to 100% renewable energy. This is wild. So I'm really curious to see, what comes next and how other countries will respond to this. That's nice. And also, I really love your dashboards. Okay, I know I say this all the time when I look at the visuals, but I mean, I really love it.
Yeah, it's your job, right? You're done. You've done it. So because we are utilizing just what you create.
Yeah, but I mean, yeah, of course, yeah, but I mean, still, you have to utilize it in the correct way. So, okay, let's talk more about what kind of data and insights can we get from the Atmesys system when we're talking about renewable energy monitoring? Yeah.
Okay, great. So here you should see exemplary dashboard that is one-to-one representation of one station. I think you can see it. So actually we've developed this client dashboard in order to offer a user-friendly, quick glance checkup of what is happening actually at the site. So at the top, we have conditions, the definition of what is the ID of the station, and where is it located, and what are the actual metadata coming to play. And then while our systems can connect, as I said, locally to SCADA systems, this dashboard is utilized for real-time notifications, and it can utilize also as a promotional tool. So easily accessible remote monitoring solution, but also public information just to utilize it for the clients located near the farm, or actually other people. So the dashboard gives the quick overview of the site conditions, as I said. So we have the last values that has been monitored on the site, and below you can let's see, deep dive into the data coming with the charts, and then you can analyze what is happening on different sensors, what were the output and you can quickly filter what is relevant for you to understand what could be the issue, or what is causing the danger. Because also there are a few parameters that are crucial for PV farms, like temperature of the panels. We know that sometimes panels catch fire, and this is actually connected parameters which are triggering the alerts for the manager of the farm. So, and of course, at the bottom, we also include diagnostical data and possibility to change the interval of the station, so the communication is bidirectional. And then we can set it up. And of course, we are sometimes adding additional parameters that our station can control external devices. So it's fully bidirectional communication that is happening here.
Wow, very cool, fascinating. You know, another hot topic is like smart cities. Smart cities are on the rise. Even though, you know, we already discussed some of the smart cities topics in our previous webinars when we were talking with Dietmar from radio frequency systems. But I mean, with your how exactly does Atmesys contribute to smart city solutions, especially with the, you know, your meteorological stations? Do you think that IoT really is a game changer for the city weather monitoring? Or like, I'm thinking, is it possible to achieve, you know, this without relying on IoT? And I hope you will say no, only with IoT.
So I would lie if we can do it without IoT, but actually it would be extremely complex, because currently we have executed the proof of concept phase with the deployment of the full network of a smart city autonomous stations, which strategically are located near schools in Gniezno Voivodeship, and they play a dual role. So first of all, it's educational, but also they serve as a public informational. So those stations that you can see, and also the same concept that we can quickly glance what are the parameters and how they affect their localization close and nearby. But basically, this is also connected directly to the City Hall databases with API. So that's actually more integrated solution with a very quickly adaptable and ready to implement without the need to actually touch the infrastructure. All those stations are actually fully autonomous, so they do not have any power source, and they are connected totally wirelessly. So that would be one example. And this, let's say, example of one of them. So they, as I said, they serve as an essential tool for education about fundamentals of environmental parameters, so how they can be utilized in terms of environmental science, and of course optimization of resource utilization whenever the students would like to utilize them as in agriculture or even industry or energy sources. So actually they represent an exciting step forward of commitment to merging technology and educational aspects for the betterment of the whole society. Because if people will understand better the real-time data and what can be done with them, then we are actually developing new, better engineers or new, better managers.
Yeah, it all starts with education. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, wow, this is very cool. And I understand that your range of offerings extends beyond the solutions, right? Do you also provide agricultural stations?
Yes, of course. And so it's a natural next step forward that we already have been noticed by our national IHAR company, which is basically developing the seeds for the agriculture. But as you probably noticed, the application dashboards that we actually have agricultural as a separate industrial sector. So we concentrate on regenerative agriculture because this is a comprehensive strategy how to improve soil health, increase biodiversity, and enhance the ecosystem resilience, while, of course, concentrating and promoting sustainable food production. And weather measurements are absolutely essential for this type of agriculture. That means regenerative agriculture. So, first of all, weather measurements influence various aspects of farming, and of course, including planting schedules, irrigation management, and pest control. And those parameters regarding water are crucial. But another thing is soil moisture management, so that you could keep those parameters and define your actions accordingly. So pest and disease management is based on all of those parameters, but they are taken together in order to develop the model that describes how those parameters can increase the risk of those occurrences. So another point is climate adaptation and resilience. Climate is changing, and we've delivered data that are gathered in this station. Actually, farmers understand weather patterns and they can adapt accordingly. So it means they include adjusting crop selection, what is best because the climate change, they have to switch the crop, optimizing planting times, adopting techniques for enhanced the resilience, and of course, face unpredictable weather, which basically the measuring at point helps to forecast much more precisely. And closing this long story, we just collaborate with several companies specializing in agronomic analysis and consulting. So our system can serve as real-time data on-the-fly consulting. And also we believe that this integrated approach helps farmers to make the most data-driven decisions, because this is crucial, to optimize their farming practices in terms of promoting agriculture as a smart agriculture.
Okay, so as far as I understood, these stations are primarily built for farmers, right?
Yes.
But I mean, do you see another benefit for, I don't know, for other industries with the same solution? I mean, besides farmers.
Of course, because if you are digitalizing farm management, then it somehow affects the other sectors of the agriculture. So the entire agriculture industry is affected. If one process is digitalized, the other is easier to become digitalized. So we believe that the digital transformation can revolutionize agricultural landscape. Like, for example, we can optimize fertilizer utilization. We can automate deliveries and orders. We can integrate consultancy, as I said, on-the-fly consultancy, because of the data are remotely available. Remote maintenance and predictive maintenance, because you do not have to only measure environmental data. We can connect to external devices and control them, and control parameters that are basically crucial parameters for the conditions of the machines. And there you go, you have predictive maintenance and many more, like data-driven decision-making, resource conservation, scaling sustainability practices, traceability and quality assurance, because we can scan RFID tags. That's also what we've done in other application. And finally, economical aspects, because automation and optimization lead to cost reduction, higher productivity, and better product quality. So it's all together.
Yeah. Okay. So if you're making an impact on other industries, does it mean that you can just take the solution and apply it to, I don't know, other use cases without, a lot of modifications involved? And you do that?
Of course. Actually, as I said, so our system can be tailored to the needs of our client. And what we recently done, we've created a modular system that was measuring the big bag fertilizers to somehow increase the monitoring quality of during transportation. So this modular architecture, of course, helped and was the core of the solution. So we switched and chose the modules that were crucial for this aspect. And what we've created is basically a system that measures the pressure on the bottom of each bag, temperature and humidity of the fertilizer that is inside. And the aim of this measurement is to ensure that products are not excessively stacked and assessing that the quality of the transported goods are according to the standards. And the insight that derives from this data is actually a comprehensive overview of whether their products have been transported according or not according to their standards. And this knowledge is actually critical because before the product reaches the final client, it can significantly reduce the occurrence of the complaints because of the defective batches. Because if you store too many big bags, you actually condense the fertilizer and it starts to crystallize, and then it's done. You cannot use it. So those actually are both for the goods of the company, that is for the producers of the fertilizers, but also good for the clients because they do not lose time for bad batches. And one of the remarkable features that we utilized here is basically bidirectional communication. So we can calibrate, and utilizing this widget, we can calibrate and facilitate remote calibration ad hoc. So the monitoring system is accurate and reliable during the whole operation. And of course, furthermore, it provides real-time data for allowing to immediate reaction or intervention when necessary, both logistically and in a management way.
Wow. I just realized that I've lost the track of time. All of this is so interesting and your dashboard's so pretty, but we need to come to conclusion of the webinar. So, concluding everything that we just discussed, like in your experience, what challenges come into play when implementing IoT-based environmental monitoring solutions? Like, what kind of details make this process more complex?
So actually implementing IoT-based environmental monitoring solutions comes with several challenges and complexities. And I could name numerous of them, but I will concentrate maybe on the high priority ones. So first of all,
do not scare people, right? You don't want to scare.
So data accuracy and calibration. This is the most crucial part of any IoT system, because you rely on the quality of the result is the quality of data. Yeah. But later, the second one is data security, because you are responsible. Sometimes even simplest measurement of the temperature is sensitive data for some clients. So data security, you have to use very hard to compromise communication. Interoperability, scalability, power management, data transmission and connectivity, then of course data analysis with proper tools like KaaIoT, regulatory compliance, because then there are some countries that you have to comply with the sensors, costs and budgeting, because it has to be cost effective, and long-term sustainability. Those systems are remotely situated and they have to work. And in summary, so implementing IoT-based environmental monitoring solutions is a multi-phased endeavor, you could call it, that requires addressing multiple challenges related to points I have just listed. And that is why successful implementation relies on careful planning, focus on data quality, and clear understanding what complexities are involved.
Yeah, okay. Thanks for sharing. And, to not scare people with this conclusion, guys, it's not that complicated, but, Atmesys have got you covered. Okay,
yes,
so
we have a plug-and-play solution. So all
with
those
us,
complexities are behind.
it's a piece of cake.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, and as you can see, I put my glasses on. It means that we are coming to the Q&A session, and we have a lot of different questions posted in the chat. I'm just gonna select a couple of them. I think, Piotr, they will be mostly addressed to you, but let's see. Okay. The first question that we have from Mohit. How many IoT devices accumulate the data? How is it covering a whole region? Can one location be an outlier?
So actually, our system has each device, each endpoint has its own communication. So basically, it's based on our clients, how many of those endpoints they wish to have. The aggregation of the data is both local and remote. So it means that data, whenever it has the connectivity or is currently energy saving, it stores data locally. And we called it transmission intervals. We send this data via 5G communication, as I mentioned, to the servers, multiple servers. One of them is KaaCloud, where it's aggregated and analyzed for delivering the response to our clients. And of course, we are concentrating not only on this high-end long distance communication, but also I think this is tricky. We are not using LoRa. We are locally communicating via BT long range. We have found that the new standard 5.2 started from 5.2, but we are actually 5.3 now, proof of concept. That Bluetooth has much more energy savings capabilities, and for up to 1 kilometer, we can distribute heavily security connectivity with distributed sensors. And then the client decides how many points it would like to have and how many points we should simulate after analysis.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to move to the next one by Andrew. As the monitoring network grows, how scalable is the architecture and what challenges might be encountered in scaling up?
And that's the question to KaaIoT. As you've seen probably on our overview of our applications, we are sending around 4 gigabytes of data every 24 hours from our
you want to show your screen now?
No, it's just this. I've just looked to
yeah, check. I see that you opened up
to check. However, so it's a lot of data. Of course, we are growing fast, but of course, we already prepared the mitigation of too much condensed data. Currently, we are on the verge of increasing number of devices on the market and in our network, and so we would like to have maximum number of data for the future reasons. But of course, to future-proof the solution, we already implemented our algorithm to optimize and limit number of data, because we do not have to send 1 second measurements. We can do the fast post-processing locally on the station without losing the quality of the data according to INC standards, and calculate the proper averages and the vectors of each changes without losing the quality, but minimizing the size. And then that's for the future, after achieving 10,000 solutions, devices on the market or even more, then of course we can scale up using the KaaIoT, and we can just increase forever the amount of data we would like to utilize. But of course, we can cost effectiveness by diminishing the number or minimizing the number of data that we're actually sending.
Okay. I really appreciated that your answers are such, so thorough.
Yeah. So, but I can talk forever. That's why you have to keep me in.
Oh no, don't stop. I mean, that's great. Another question that's not over by Daniel. In remote or off-grid areas, how is power efficiency managed for IoT devices and sensors?
Yes. So as I said, we actually have multiple, so actually 3 STM microcontrollers. There are actually processors that we've integrated and create our own microcontrollers for maximizing the energy savings, and also for the terms where actually we are at some locations where we are underground. This is not the solution is not publicly available, so I cannot tell more. But we are sometimes losing the connectivity, of course, and in that sense, the station first of all tries to save energy, because trying to connect uses a lot of energy, and it stores data, recalculates it, so we do not lose the quality, but we optimize amount of data that we'll send next time the connectivity is available. And this is how we have adapted the algorithm to optimize battery in different conditions. The other ones, we have our PV panels that restore the battery levels, but of course during winter it's a tricky part. That's why also we have this management that we dynamically change the intervals for both for measuring, calculation, and sending according to the levels of battery and temperature outside, because temperature also somehow influences how much energy you store in the battery. So this all connected creates an algorithm. Of course, if there will be no power for 1 month, sorry, the station will die. But we cannot create a perpetuum mobile at this stage, but we are trying to improve every time. We're trying to different batteries, different conditions, and we found the best solutions to maximize those parameters.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go with a couple of more questions. I see a lot of them. And guys, please be sure that we're going to reply to each, one of your questions
yes.
after
Anyhow,
the webinar.
Also feel free to contact me offline.
Yeah, and also, Piotr's always available for chat. But okay, I'm going to go with a couple of more. Okay. For what size of farm is the monitoring system interesting?
So actually, but very good question. And what we are preparing now with our partners from Techmod, it's a foundation soil from up new, so Grunt od Nowa. As they are promoting, and they are agronomes that promote regenerative agriculture. We are preparing the solution that would be promising and cost-effective for even 100 or 10 hectares farm, because what we want is to minimize the utilization of fertilizers by optimizing so mapping the whole field. Even if the field is dispersed, we would introduce the hardware of our stations and the complementary consulting from the company that guarantees that the target is to minimize the use of fertilizer by 25% on each field. And currently, the cost of fertilizers actually is cost effective in terms of utilizing our system. And so this simple goal actually makes it cost efficient. And I hope that soon this smart farming will be promoted enough that everyone will understand that addressing the needs to understand what is actually in the soil and to know how it's dispersed on the field gives the optimization even for the smallest farmers.
Okay, thank you. Clark, do you use Apache eCharts?
Yes.
Clark asked this question a couple of times. I had to bring it up. And also, a little compliment, Piotr, your custom widgets are beautiful.
Okay, also. Thank you very much. No, they are. So it's also complimentary to you because it's part of your design.
I know. I know. Okay. Okay. The last question. I need to decide somehow. Okay. How many same sensor do you deploy on same environment for air quality in case any wrong measurement from one of the sensors from the field is there? Is there any benchmark or backup sensor to compare the values and detect misreadings or such?
Wow. So regarding the air quality, actually we are relying on the high-end sensors, which are I think I can tell it here. It's Next PM sensors, which have its own heating pipe that is actually mitigating the risk of miscalculation by water or the vapor introduced into air, so that low-cost sensors normally see vapor also as particulate matter. And that's why we are utilizing their solution, because it's just state of the art. And also these sensors, they got millions of dollars of financing, and they have their own diagnostical information that we just read. If the sensor calculations was correct according to their backup and spare, they have some spare calculations or systems to identify if the calculation was correct. And what we do, we basically calibrate the sensor before deployment, and later we rely on those systems that are within the sensor itself. However, of course, the plan is actually to calibrate every year the sensor, and we are using to compare if the calculation is actually correct. We verify this measurement with the nearest national station of the air quality. So the benchmark is basically the national stations, which use gravitational mode, not mode, but way of measuring the air quality, which is actually the reference method for that. And that's basically that. Currently, we do not have any other countermeasures.
Okay. And okay, the last question, I can't get enough of them. How many sensors do you deploy in a city, and what would be the ratio to KM2?
Actually, for the smart cities, it's not our choice. The actual government of the city that decides what are the locations and how many they need. So here, it's not my competence to somehow enforce that, no, the net of those should be like this, because it's unfortunately straightforward. They have locations that are planned and they have financing to embark. So smart cities are quite tricky in this part that we cannot decide. For farming, we utilize the suggestions, the satellite measurements, the calibration to the laboratories, and to the information from agronomes. How many sensors, when they should be located for the reference endpoints, so that the measurement is relative and they can bring the valuable insights as a reply in terms of analysis. In smart city, this is just dependent on the availability of the location.
Okay. All right. I think we need to end this webinar at this point. I don't want to be honest, because it was awesome, Piotr, and thank you so much for your dedication, for your passion in creating environmental solutions. I mean, this is really great, and we are happy to have you here. And of course, guys, all of your questions will be answered, and you can contact Piotr directly. We're gonna tag him on LinkedIn, like if you want to get in touch with Atmesys and learn more. And please do not forget to try KaaCloud, of course. Connect your devices, send us your projects descriptions, and we have a challenge for ESP32. So let's get these things, work.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for great questions, and I'm always open for the discussion and for collaboration with anyone.
Thank you.
So,
thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Awesome, and see you soon. And take care. Bye.
Wish you a great evening. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. You too.